Go to this. 21 subscribers. Thank you. Then we go here. If it will let me push on that. Here we go. And yes, it is 7:59. I got a ride home today. Fantastic, because I had to walk. Oh my goodness. The ice thing was far bigger than what it was last time. And sorry, yeah. So let me go over there. I'm in the process of getting stuff situated. You know, 2 pairs of pants and 3 pairs of socks, and trying to so, and I don't have the headset on yet, so I can't hear that stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely assuming that it's going like that. I should probably look to see if my, what is that thing called? The Twitch is on mute. Yeah, it's definitely on mute. We're good. Alrighty, so then go back over this way. Alright, fan fiction. So we're gonna hit play. And we were, oh damn, drop that one. We're mining for diamonds. Almost used my chin for it. I was going to. I have my hair in a bun. It's not the best bun, but I sweat. Oh my goodness. Okay, so when I left this morning, it was like in the 20s, like 20 degrees in Bethlehem. Sorry. And anyways, there we go. It's out there now. But anyways, it's not in. It's in the United States. It's not in the other country. But anyways, so this area up here, mountain, cold, 20 degrees when I left this morning. By the time I got to midway down the flippin' mountain, there was still ice, and then when I got to the base of the mountain, it was, sorry, I'm trying to get this off. Anyways, when I got to the base of the mountain, it was already like warming up. Like the sun was out, everything was shining, and I didn't know what the degrees was. But by the time I got to midtown of the other town that's close by, it was a good 36 degrees. And when I went past this other place that told me what the temperature was, it was already 40 degrees. And I was like, I started out in 20 degrees, and it escalated. I was flipping sweating the flip. I mean, I am so greasy. It's like, dude, but I managed, and I guess I didn't make anyone vomit because of my smell, so I'm doing great. So I do need to make some wood things. I think they're 2 sticks per thing. Damn, I'm gonna have to go get some. Oh no, I have some wood. We're good. Okay, so this is the area where enemies are. Okay, so I need to swap that around. But anyways, so Trying to get some arrows. I don't know any Fletchers yet. Give me them points. Thank you. Or experience. Whatever you call that. Yeah, most of the time I was wearing my hair down. Anyways, but I wore it up today, and I'm glad I did, because I was super sweating today on the way to work, and I got called midway through my way to work, like around 10:12 or something, 10:20 something, and I was asked, you know, if I was okay, and I was like, what's going on? And I was like, I can barely hear you, because like, there was like, you know, super traffic and everything, and they were whooshing by, and I'm going past this busy road, and they were like, you were supposed to be, oh, and they were like, you were supposed to be in at 10, and I was like, what? I was like, no, I was like, I don't come in until 11. I'm like thinking I'm making good time and whatnot, and they were like, no, you're, you know, we're worried because like you, he was like, you know, this other associate had texted me and I'm not getting back to her, and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, so I decided to call you. He was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And he was like, good, because she was worried and thought that you got hit by a car. And I was like, well, there were a few, like, you know, maybe misses, but no. I was like, I thought I was supposed to come in at 11. And they were like, no, you know, you're like 20 minutes late. And I was like, flip. Well, it was like 12 minutes late at that time. But I was like, oh no. He was like, are you coming in? And I was like, yeah, I'm coming in. I was like, I'm at the McDonald's. And I was like, I was over by this area, and he was like, oh, he's like, so you're not that far away? And he was like, do you know how long it's gonna take? And I was like, I'll possibly maybe like 10-20 minutes maybe. And I was like, I should be there shortly. And he was like, okay. He was like, well, we were really worried. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I was like, thank you, you know. So I come in, and then like I get bombarded. She was like, good, you're alive. And I was like, okay. I was like, is there like a hit on me or something? But like, she was like, no, girl, I thought you got hit by a car. And that's exactly how she said it. And I was like, you know what? I almost got hit twice, but no. I was like, they were trying to avoid this big patch of ice that like is like going halfway across this the road going down. Holy damn, I had crossed the road so that I could get across this thing. So I'm like, traffic's going up this way and I'm going down this way, and there were cars that were going around this big huge like hunk of ice. And it was like, okay, and then the cars were having to veer off the road so that they could not be hit by the people trying to get around the ice. And I was like, this ice was like this thick too on the road. I mean, it wasn't like the thin stuff, it was like that thick. I mean, it had accumulated. And this was like going, like, this incline was like that. And, dude, I would have went, like, on the other side of the road just to like avoid this too, because like, dude, you lose traction with a car or a bike, or what the flip. I didn't know whether or not it was nighttime. Yeah, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that at all. So let's just make it so they can't get through. That's just one hole. We're good. Thought the lava would be deterrent enough. I'll do it this way and then... Alright, we should be good now. Now the only thing that's gonna pop in is like a little spider if we're near any mines. Yeah, that's not enough to fit through. It's one block. It's just one block. Alrighty, so it looks wide because of that, because this one. But no. Here, I'll take the illusion away. There, you see, now it looks like it's just one block, huh? Alright, so but yeah, losing traction with a car or a bike on ice, not fun. Really not fun. So I've had to walk like 3 hours and some change. This is like 8 miles and some change just to get to work, but at least I'm getting rides home, which is really nice. Very, very nice. And I'm working to the best of my ability and only leaning when I have to, which is really close to lunch. When I start getting like really hungry and a little dizzy and lightheaded, I'm just like, can I go on lunch now? They're like, not yet. And I was like, what, you know? Well, see, we get busy during certain times, so we don't quite get to go on our after 4 hours. Sometimes it's five hours, sometimes it's 5.5 hours. If we're lucky, it's 4.5 hours, which was kind of today, and I was leaning a lot because I was tired. You know, hey, they don't have a problem with you leaning, just as long as you're not like sitting down. I was just leaning against kind of something. Wasn't that much, but like there is this like under thing. Okay, so the register, and then there's this little space where we can like put like receipt paper and stuff, and then underneath that there is this big open area that is like this far off of the ground, so you could put your foot up there, and they actually recommend to do that so that you're not like hurting yourself, and then then you switch out your foot so that you're resting at least your legs a little bit. So I was doing that today, and it definitely does help. So I don't know, I woke up tired, and I couldn't quite get out of bed early enough. Anyways, so those times where you just turn off the alarm, and then you're just like, I don't want to do anything. I want to go sleep. This is one of those days. But I did. I made it to work. I was only a half hour. Well, technically, I was supposed to be. Well, I'm over on my hours, and we're not allowed to get above 40. And I'm already like an hour and some change over because I've had to stay late a couple days because they were bombarded by customers while I was trying to leave. And I'm like an hour and something over. So technically it wasn't that bad, me being a half hour late. And I still have to cut an hour, and then I had to stay after, a little after today, because I got stuck at shipping, and I was helping the ship. Oh my goodness! So this one company owner had to send something to Johnny Depp, some leather trinket or something. I had to put that. Yeah, I was like, Johnny Depp. I was like, maybe it's just fanboying, And then like he had mentioned that it was a product for it, and I was like, So I mean, he didn't tell me what it was. I mean, it was all confidential, but the name of his company was quite. I was trying so hard not to laugh. I'm not going to say it on here. It's not a breach of confidentiality or anything, but hey, maybe someone doesn't want their purchase to be known. But it was a package to Johnny Depp, like the actor Johnny Depp, and I was like, okay. No, I will not give you address, and no, that is their personal stuff. If the business owner wants to come out and say something about it, then whatever. But the company name was flippin' hilarious. As I was trying to punch this name in, I was trying my hardest not to laugh, not to make some sort of juvenile joke or anything, and I was just like, But anyways, it was, I think it was the owner of this company who was, what the hell? Sorry, something just popped up on my screen. Anyways, it was the owner of this company that had come to deliver this thing and make sure that it got out. And I guess, you know, he was happy, so. I mean, how often does somebody, like, order something from people's companies and whatnot, so. He made sure it was properly delivered, and it went out during the 2:30 pickup. So, yay. It's on the way. But I was sitting there trying to tell this other associate, and she's like, no. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, no. And I was like, I know this sounds far-fetched. And so I got the package and I showed her. And I was like, it's not who it's going to that got me. It's the company that it's from. And I was like, I was trying my damnedest not to even crack a smile. I cracked a smile. And he smiled too as I was typing it in. I might have flushed a little, but I was just like, you know, hey, with the name of the company, how could you expect me not to? I mean, but, you know, hey, whatever. It's none of my business. Just that company name. And she's like, wow, they actually got you know, like, the name of that. And I was like, I had to type this in. I was like, with a straight face. I was like, I couldn't laugh. I was like, I was trying not to be judgmental about it, because I like to crack jokes, and it's not always appropriate to crack jokes with certain people. I mean, you know, sensitivities and whatnot, and let's say I appreciated the name in a comical sense. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm moving on. So your boat. Anyways, stuck in a loop, huh? I can't get over it. Anyways, there were other things to talk about. I can't think of them any of them. Yeah, I'm checking the time to see if I can run away from the subject. But anyways, oh, so the package from yesterday was resolved. They called today and asked the woman about it, and she said, yeah, there is a laptop in there, but there's no battery in there. So she's like, just, you know, cross it off. And she already talked to the distribution of UPS, and they were like, that's fine. And they're gonna come back around and get it. So everything's fine with that. We're good to go. And if one of the associates had joked about if there is one and she did lie, we did our due diligence, and if the plane explodes, it was all her fault. And I was just like, wow, I was like, that's a little dark, you know? But, hey, people have their own types of humor. I'm not laughing about that, I'm just laughing about how many different types of humor there honestly are. Ooh. I mean, there's dark, then there's dark, like pitch black, you can't see through kind of dark, where you're like, wow, was that a statement? And then like evil, sinister laughing after it, or was that like, was that just a like laughter from shock appeal, you know, reaction? I've met some dark people. I mean, they have some interesting humor. Yeah. But then there's people who have some silly sense of humor, corny sense of humor, dry sense of humor, which can be quite pleasant if you understand the context of that type of humor. And because, okay, so if somebody who has a dry sense of humor, they even try to make a joke, it's one of those momentous occasions, like, wow, you know? And then, like, if you are intelligent enough to get that joke, and it is, you know, funny, then not only are you laughing, but they're laughing, and then other people around you are kind of like, I don't get it. And then, like, I mean, it kind of ruins it for, not really for the person who's telling the joke, but kind of in a sense. But if you have to sit there and explain it to them, and then they still don't get it, it's kind of like, well, damn. I've been in those situations where I sit there and I try to explain someone's joke, and the person who had told that joke is like, yeah, that's exactly what you know. And then I'm like, yeah, and the person we're trying to explain it to is just like, I still don't get it. And then it's like, okay, let's see if I can kindergarten this. And then, I mean, in no way am I even boasting about intelligence at all. But certain things I do know and understand, and then other things I don't. And then I'll be that person that will sit there and go, I don't get it. Like, if I'm not hip to the jive of certain topics, I am like a blank wall. I'm like, it's like, could you describe it? Could you explain it another way? Could you dumb it down for me? You know, and they're all like, okay, well, what grade? And I'm like, let's try first grade. And they're like, what? Really? Okay, so, like, if you gotta go down to, let's say, third grade, then you've dumbed it down to a point where a third grader could understand, okay? This is like one of those, I believe third graders are like, it's definitely PG-13, you know? You've dumbed it down that far, and you can explain it in a way that isn't perverse or provocative and whatnot. But if you have to go down to kindergarten level, they really don't understand the subject, or they're missing like a little gap of information that would make it interesting for them, or they really don't follow that, whatever it is that you're making a joke about. So I had somebody make this corny joke about what was it? It wasn't a typewriter, it was something else. And the punchline of it was it was like a motion, like a ta-ta-ta ding, and we tried to explain what a typewriter was, and we also tried to it wasn't that the person was stupid. It's just they didn't understand why they had such devices whenever they have computers, and we're trying to explain to them that this was before computers, and they just couldn't understand the fact that things were before computers. And no, just it wasn't a dumbing down moment. It was someone not realizing that certain things had evolved over the years. Anyways, so anyways, we're just gonna move by it and act like it didn't really happen. All right. So anyways, trying to think of some good jokes. Well, we were talking about different types of humor. There is a silly humor where people, you know, they throw like weird slimy things at you, like, yes, it's juvenile, but sometimes it gets people, giggling. I'm not one of those people who like to throw things at people, but, you know, hey, if, somebody tosses something at me, I'm gonna toss it back. We're playing catch, you know? Just catch. I had somebody who would buy those little, okay, so it's kind of like a vending machine little thing, but it's like a gumball machine that has these little prize balls in it, and then they'd crack it open, and they'd have these little sticky, hand-like things. They would wad it up and then throw it at them, like at someone. I've had that happen to me a few times in my youth, because that was the thing to do when you had one of those things. I mean, if you're watching, hey, I haven't talked to you since like maybe 12, 11, but this, you know, I still remember. But anyways, these sticky things that you could stick on the wall, and you could also, it was like a little toy that had this, it was like a hand, and it had this like long string that you could put on one of your fingers with, like, there was a hoop on the end, and you could like put it on your finger, and then you hold it and you fling it, and then you could like pull paper to yourself, or like small things like a pencil or something. I'm thinking I might need to pull up a picture to describe it. Hold on. we're gonna do show and tell. Give me a second. Alright, so let's say sticky hand. I don't know what we're gonna bring up. Just started. Give me a second. Oh, yeah, we brought it up. Okay. I knew what I was talking about. So, whew, that's bright. So these are the things I'm talking about. It's a hand, and it's little sticky hands. Obviously. So you could hold the end of it, or some of them have like a little circle on them. Okay, so the one that says sticky hands has the circle. There's a few that don't have the circle, that's just like a little ball at the end that you can hold. But anyways, you throw it out like a fishing pole, and then you pull it back, and whatever it did stick to, sometimes it pulls it back, or sometimes it lets go, depending on it. It's just a little elastic thing. It's like sticky and whatever. Anyways, they would wad these things up and then chuck it at one of their friends. I was one of those friends, and yeah, it was like, I got you kind of thing, and that was the funny part about it, I guess, you know. I was like, I should repair that before something comes through. Something immediately came through. Whoops. See if I can hold on a second. I'm gonna make it so that I can see through this. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, that looks good. A little scary, but okay. Yeah, and that was his sense of humor. It's silly and weird. It wasn't something that could actually hurt you unless it went in your eye. And most of the time it was like, you know, fell on your chest or your shoulder or maybe your cheek, you know? And, or, you know, someone would come over and like kind of swing it and go, ah, you get hit by like the sticky little thing and sometimes it would rip off and be stuck on your face. That had happened. Overuse of those things, they tear right next to the hand part. Anybody who used those things? Yeah. Oh, and the gack thing. Flip. There was this like slime gack kind of stuff. That was back in the 80s and 90s. Well, it was definitely the 90s and early 2000s. That was a toy that like was supposedly fun to chuck at somebody till it got taken. I never chucked it at people. I was like, no, this is gonna get in somebody's like clothes. I've had it chucked at me once, and no, it didn't get stuck in my clothes, but I just had this feeling that it would get stuck in somebody's clothes. Silly putty was fun. You know, you could take like comic ink, like, okay, so silly putty is flip. I think we're gonna have to go after a picture. It's like this putty that you could warm with your hands, and then you spread it out to the point where you could put it on like a piece of paper with some writing or whatnot. Let's do a visual. Visuals are fun. Okay, silly putty. Let's see, I'm gonna delete this. Silly putty. Okay. See if we can find some. Okay. Let's make sure nothing inappropriate is on here while we're looking. For those of you who don't like to see stretchy, weird, gooey things, look away. Look away now. Okay. So, silly putty. Okay, so you notice the one that's 2 down, well, I guess it's 1 down, 2 down, and then 1 to the right next to the jar of silly putty eggs, because that's what it came in. It came in like a little weird silly putty egg, and then you crack it open like the one above it, and it's the stuff that was like kind of cold, and then you had to warm it up in your hands, and you work it until it got warm and gooey, and the warmer your hands were, the gooier it get. So you'd spread it out on some newspaper, and then it would the newspaper would bleed, the ink would bleed into the silly putty, and no worries, because as soon as you started working the silly putty again, that picture would disappear. And then you'd be able to use it with something else. Eventually you would get this like grayish color, but it'd still take the ink from whatever. I mean, technically it wasn't the greatest, because most newspaper ink is not BPA safe, because it's made with that stuff, and that stuff is known to cause like cancers and brain, you know, problems. As I say here, and I reminisce on it, and yeah, but we didn't know that at the time, so like, yeah, I'm reminiscing about it. I'm like almost promoting it even, and yeah, watch out the health hazard, you know, newspaper, playing with it with newspaper isn't the best, and I'm not even sure what the product's made out of, but I'm just explaining my childhood a little bit, just a little bit. And, yeah, fun stuff, but we would play with that a lot too. And like, if like we would have these like weird little contests, if you could get like the whole comic strip out of that, like this was with some neighborhood kids, if you could get the whole comic out of it, and not the whole strip because the damn silly putty wasn't that big. I mean, you could probably get a block if you you stretched it properly. And if you could get the whole thing, then we'd sit there and like you know, cheer each other on and whatnot, and it was like, yay kind of moment, like, holy F, that's the most amazing, oh, I can't do that, that's fantastic kind of thing, you know, we'd you know, give compliments and whatnot, but it didn't happen all the time. Mostly we played cards. I loved playing cards. I hated playing cards with this neighborhood boy because he would rake the deck. He would ask for a drink, and while you're going to get him the drink, you come back and he's shoving cards into the top of the deck where he wanted them. And I was like, what the hell? Because his nickname was Mouth, but you know, his full name, I know his full name. I'm not going to sit here and rat on him. I mean, I technically am, but you don't get that much time on my flippin' channel. What the flip? Anyways, he punched me once. Like, I mean, full face, just clocked me. And I looked at him, and I was like, I was in shock. I mean, I kind of took it. We were like, you know, flipping. I think I was either 12 or 13 at the time. This was before we moved. But, I accidentally gave him a seizure because he was prone to seizures. I told him if he were to touch me again, that I don't care what kind of disability he had, I was going to muck him up. But I didn't say muck, I said I was going to F him up. And that no one was going to be able to stop me because you should never hit a woman. And he said that I wasn't a woman. I was like, you should never hit a girl either. And he went about punching me again, and he punched me in the chest, and I flipped out, and I pushed him back, and then he went to lunge at me, and I was like, nope, it's on. So I started wailing, and he was wailing. He got me a few times in the rib. Also, he clocked me again in the chin, but the other side. And so I'm punching him, he's punching me, and then I ended up getting on top and just wailing at him, and he was just going like this, and he started having a seizure while I was beating him up. And so I stopped. I mean, I could have kept going. I mean, dude. But anyways, I had stopped, and he lived with his grandparents because there were some issues between him and his father. So they didn't see eye to eye, and his father kind of picked on him, so his grandparents took care of him. And because stress was not very good for someone who has seizures, and he had to take medicine to keep himself from having seizures, and he was one of those people who thought that he was untouchable because he had this, and I had warned him, not once, but several times, that if he were to do something to me that I don't care, that he had opened the floodgates and I was coming. You know, not in that way. Dude, that is weird. Don't think like that. Anyways, so I went ham on him. I started punching, and I mean, I didn't even get to the kicking part. I didn't kick him one bit, but I did punch him quite a few times, and he might have took a few blows to the head, which I was trying to avoid, but since he was trying to come after my face, I was like, oh, you, fine. And so I busted up myself and a little bit. I have little scars. And, he looked a little worse than I did. Just a little worse. I busted his lip right there, and I gave him a black eye. Not gonna lie, he did blame it on somebody else. And, I got yelled at, and I got beat. What he told his grandparents was that, I attacked him, and that, that he attacked me back after I attacked him. And I was like, no, that happened exactly in reverse. I was like, he punched me because I called him out for raking the cards, and he called me bad name, and then so I called him that bad name back, and he did not like that bad name being called back to him, and so he punched me right across the face. And I just went, I was like, what the? And I was, dude, I cursed a lot, just a little, when I was pissed. As like maybe a sailor version, you know, just, yeah. It was when I was a kid. I mean, we had punishments for that. Like, I had to hold a bar of soap in my mouth for a good 2 hours, if not longer. Wasn't allowed to swallow, wasn't allowed to spit out the liquid, so it was just a huge bar of like, hold on, it was about like that big of a bar, I don't know if you can see. I had to hold it in my mouth, had to keep my mouth closed, couldn't let it drip down, so it was just the saliva accumulating a lot of nasty, soapy nastiness in my mouth. Well, that was the punishment for cursing, like swearing. I was told that was very traumatic. That was just a whole lot of trauma. I got beat first. Like, it was like, you whoop the butt, you know, tail is grass kind of thing, and then holding the bar of soap in the mouth. It was, no. Anyways, so I don't curse a lot, not because of that, but because I don't want others to sit there and curse. Like, you know, little others, you know, like children, you know, because I don't want them to get in trouble just saying a bad word and then feeling like I was the responsible for that bad word and them saying that bad word and getting them in trouble. I don't know. I have weird conflicted emotions about that. So that's why I don't swear anymore. I mean, when I was 13 and before, quite a few times. Because I was around people who did swear a lot. And then they were willing to punish you for swearing whenever they swore. And then you were the only one that actually fully took that punishment. Because, like, my half-sister, she got out of every flippin' punishment. Every flippin' punishment. I tell you what, it was, well, I don't have to because blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I'm not going to go into it too much, but she would take the bar out of her mouth and then pretend like she did the whole time. She had it in her mouth the whole time. And no, she didn't. She really didn't. And Also, the walking up and down the stairs, which I hated, because you get beat, and then you'd have to walk up and down the stairs until he was done being mad at you. And this was for stuff that I didn't even do. She would sit there and she'd stop walking up and down the stairs and then just sit on the stairs until she heard him coming up the stairs, and then asked who was not walking up the stairs. And she would blame it on me, and I was like, no, I was. So then I'd get beat again, and then I hated her for that. I really hated her for that. I was like, you mother effer. I was like, people in their graves are rolling over because of this crap. Honestly. Just, dude. But anyways. I'm trying to think of nicer things to talk about. I really am. I swear I am. But okay, yeah, I was trying to continue the story of accidentally giving someone a seizure, and so I got beat for that, and then I wasn't allowed to hang out with him for like 2 weeks. I was like, this was blissful. I mean, like, not the getting beat part, but not having to hang out with him for 2 weeks. He was annoying as flip, and I didn't like him coming over anyways. Oh my goodness, there was this one time where he said that I was dating him, and I got grounded for like 11 months. I mean, seriously. And like, I had to do that hard labor during these flipping 11 months, and I was like, okay. And I wasn't allowed to talk to him, and I was like, say no more. Just like, let's extend this a little more. I was like, hell, I will flip and be grounded for a century if I don't have to talk to this person. Oh my goodness. But he would always come over, and he would always like harass me. And like, my friends were like, why do you even hang out with him? I was like, I don't, I just can't get rid of him. Oh my goodness. But everybody knew he had this crush on me, and then he would lie and say he didn't, that he hated me. And I was like, okay. I was like, whatever. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it. I was like, if you don't like me, don't talk to me, please. Just don't talk to me. I wasn't that lucky. He just kept telling everyone he was dating me, and then also telling them that I had all these diseases and stuff. And I was like, really? Really? It was, like, some of the stuff I didn't even know about. Like, one of my best friends, Ronnie, he told me that, he was telling people, that, like, I gave him this or whatever, and I was like, what? I was like, what is that? I was like, is it some sort of, like cold or something? And, I mean, dude, this was, like, when I was 11, 12, 13, something around there, and I didn't know anything about the, you know, mommy, daddy, playtime kind of thing, and I mean, that's as juvenile, well, that's as, like, kindergarten as I can make it, okay? So, I didn't know anything about that, and they were like, no, and he was like, it's what this is, and I was like, wait, what? And he was like, you know, he tried to explain it, and I was like, wait, I was like, that stuff that we learned in, like, oh, excuse me. It wasn't like home ec. It was like, I'm trying to think of what it was called. I guess you could call it like, no, it definitely wasn't home ec. We learned this whenever we were transitioning into high school. They had told us about the birds and the bees. It was whitewashed, super whitewashed. We didn't know anything about the birds or the bees. It was like, okay, girls are gonna get periods and boys are going to get stiff, and we shouldn't make fun of them because of that, because it was they weren't able to control it, and it wasn't because of anything. It just would happen sporadically. And then we were told by other boys that it did happen because of certain things, that like weirdest things would set them off, and then that they lied about that. And I was like, okay. I wasn't gonna sit there and like kind of question why adults were lying to children about this, but whatever, you know. I'm sure there's some people out there that still have it accidentally happen for no damn reason. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. I'm not judging. But I know it happens for no damn reason in the morning because you wake up with it, kind of thing, but I'm not talking about that. So do I have any? No, I didn't get any turf. There we go. Did I get all of that? Definitely. Oh, hold on. I can maybe move that to another one. No, I can't. I thought that was something else I had. Alright, I'm gonna have to make another one. I think I need one to make 4 boxes. I don't know how many to make up. What is that thing called? Okay, chest. I need 9? No, 8. I need 8 of them. Okay, so I need 2 more boxes. 1, 2. Sorry, I'm mathing. Give me a minute. And what the? But yeah, anyways, he had said that he had done stuff for me, and then people thought I was like a certain way. And yeah, and then whenever someone got interested in me because they thought I was a certain way, then he started spreading these obnoxious kind of things about me. I was like, what the flip is wrong with this guy? I was like, dude. And Ronnie was telling me how he was saying all this crazy stuff, and I was like, eesh. I was like, whatever. I was like, I don't even care. I really don't. But looking back on it, I was like, wow. I was like, why did I even hang out with him? And I was like, I didn't. I really didn't. I was like, I couldn't get rid of him. And I was thinking of how many other people that like hung out around me that I didn't even talk to, but they claimed to be friends with me. Like, okay, so one of Ronnie's friends claimed to be my friend, but he wasn't, because I never even once talked to him. And interestingly enough, someone would call, like, this friend of his would call him Rhonda. And I said maybe 2 words to him. I was like, why the hell would you call him that? I was like, do you want to be called? And I said his name as a female version. And he got really angry at me. And he was like, what the? He said, what the F, in front of, like, practically the whole class, and everybody looked over. And I was like, well, then don't call him that. And he was like, what are you, his girlfriend? And I was like, no, he's like my best friend. And And he was like, oh, well, it seems like you're his girlfriend. And I was like, do you not know the concept of friendship? I was like, you're willing to fight, you know, to protect your friends, right? And he's like, well, you're just like him and you want him in the bed. And I was like, all right, fine. I was like, sure. We'll go with that, and you can continue to not talk to me, and you should probably stop talking to Ronnie, because I was like, I don't think he likes being called Rhonda. And some people started thinking that we actually were dating because of me standing up for him. No, he dated my friend Brittany, and then Missy had the biggest crush on him. The biggest crush. And, I mean, Brittany had the biggest crush on him, and then it was, like, Missy and Brittany. But Brittany got to him first, and Missy still had that crush. And Brittany said that it was okay if she went after him. And I was like, that is so nice. And she's like, yeah, it just didn't work out. I mean, they stayed friends afterwards, but it was cute. It was cute. 'Cause you know how, like, you don't, okay, there is this little, like, non-written code between friends and whatnot. You don't go after somebody's, you know, I know it's hard. Okay, so, I'm trying to put it to the point where the male doesn't sound like a piece of meat. You don't go after somebody's ex. That's the best way to say it. Like, their seconds, you know? And if one friend is, like, actually enamored or, like, totally in love with someone, no touchies. Like, no touchies at all. You stay away from that. It's a code, you know, between girls and whatnot. I mean, not everybody adheres to that code, because, like, obviously there are some, I guess, frenemies out there that do that. And I'm still like, what the flip? I was like, no, they were never your friend to begin with if they went after your boyfriend. No. Because a true friend would not go after your boyfriend. But anyways, I mean, I haven't met too many people who sit there and try to set up somebody, like one of their friends, with an ex, but I've heard of it happening. Like, I don't know. I just think that would be weird, because then you'd still be around your ex, but then you'd be seeing them with somebody else. You know? Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm taking it, like, very, very weird. But anyways. And I had this thing where if I guess I still have this thing. If my sister thinks somebody is attractive, I back up. I'm like, no, I'm good. It's like, okay, I'm trying to explain this to the point where I don't actually look at people that way, but whenever she did find somebody attractive, I did not want to even touch that person. Like, I did not want to get in the way, and I did not want to, no. I was like, no, I'm good. Like, she had this huge crush on Justin Timberlake. Everybody did. I didn't see the appeal. I really did not see the appeal. And she's like, oh, but his hair is so curly and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. She liked curly hair. And then, like, she also liked, I think she had a thing for blondes. because she also went after, like, Nick from the Backstreet Boys. I don't know his last name. And then Carter. Thank you. And, the last name of his little brother, I was like, I mean, you know, Aaron Carter, whatnot, because these names I can't get out of my head because she would constantly talk about them. It was like, I didn't even know who the hell these people were until they were, like, all over her wall. And I had to go into her room. I had to clean her room sometimes. I had to help her with her room. Nobody helped me clean my room. And it was like whenever we did share a room together, I had to clean the room. Because what she would do was shove everything under the bed. That's not cleaning. That's just stuffing everything under the bed. I hated that, because if I needed to find something, I had to dig through a pile of crap just to find something that I needed. And I don't even understand why she would go about trying to put my stuff under the bed. I hated that. I really, really hated it, because it was all of her toys, and then some of my stuff would get trapped under the bed. I'm like, she would legit have to go through my drawer just to get some of this crap. I was like, what was she using my shirt for? I was like, you know? Anyways, sorry, I'm complaining a lot. I mean, certain things you look back on and then it reminds you of something else. And this is kind of like a video log, so we're diving into little tidbits of memories here and there. Good luck sorting them out! I mean, putting them in categorized, time-stamped order, because, dude, that's gonna be a pain and a half. I still think the scanning method's better, but, you know, hey, whatever. People don't want to ask permission. They just want to do, and then you're not able to use it because you didn't have that permission. So, you know, hey. I'll probably pop up in a lot of bad places. I'm just saying. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. Hopefully there's ice cream, though. Ice cream. Put it on your to-do list. Oh my goodness. If you don't know what ice cream is, flip. How could you? How could you? It's a sweet dairy product, and yes, I know where dairy comes from. Alright? I'm not ashamed. I'm a big baby. Big baby. Oh my goodness. So this bingo thing, I'm gonna say this before I clock out here for the, yeah, it's like I'm working again. But anyways, so at work, there's this bingo thing that we have to do, and one of the things on the bingo is you have to high-five an associate. You have to high-five two associates. And high-fiving is like, you know, hey, you know, kind of thing. So I got a high five from one of the associates, and she flippin' nearly took my hand off. I mean, she slapped so hard. I was like, hey, you know, and she went, wow, and she clipped the side of my hand. It was definitely this hand, and it stung, and I was like, the UPS driver was there picking up some stuff, and he started laughing at us, and I'm sitting there going, and she's like, oh, she's like, it wasn't that bad, and I was like, no, it stings, and she's like, wait, did I hurt you? And I was like, yeah, I'm a baby. And she started like laughing, and she's like, I'm not laughing that you're in pain, but that you said that, you know, And I was like, yeah, I was like, you gotta be gentle with me. And I was like, I'm old, but I'm a baby. And, the UPS worker, he couldn't contain himself. He just started laughing. And I was like, what? I was like, it's the truth. And he just went about getting his, like, the packages and everything. So I guess we're one of those stops where he's gonna, just look around and make sure that we're not doing something crazy. We're one of those good stops, I guess, And, so, she was like, she's like, I'm sorry. She's like, I'll try to be more gentle with you next time. And I was like, okay. I was like, you want to do a trial this time? And I was like, this time try not to take my hand off. And she's like, okay, we should practice. And I was like, okay. So I go like this, and she goes like this, and I was like, all right. And she's like, and I was like, she even made the sound, and I was like, okay. And the UPS worker was pulling out the pallet at the time, and he just did the nod, and then kind of smiled and went off the way. I mean, we did this right in front of shipping too, because I was headed towards the register because I was trying to put my my little bingo card down. I still have to make a poem and a song. I'm not going to make the song. I might do the poem, because I only have to have 4 lines that rhyme. And it has to be around, about this, like, easy reward thing that the company's doing. Which was fantastic in its own right, but they still haven't gotten my associate discount right, and I downloaded the app on my phone just so that I could be more familiarized with it, and I was supposed to get 2,000 reward points for downloading the app and making a purchase within this between the 7th and the 17th, when this reward thing is coming into effect. And yeah, I spent like 25 minutes on hold. Well, not the full 25 minutes. I maybe talked to the lady for like 3 to 5 minutes, but 20 minutes on hold for her to explain that the person who deals with the associate problems had left at 4, and that the specialist who takes those calls after has too many calls, and she was on hold for a while, and that she couldn't get a hold of him. And instead of her like keeping me on hold forever, she messaged him, and they said that to take down my contact information, they would give me a call. And I was between this time and this time, and I was like, I am actually working between those times and that time. I was like, is there any way they can message me, like text message me or something? Because I was like, I don't have a voicemail. I really don't. So anybody who calls me, they're just gonna get ring, 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 ring over and over and over again. It's gonna be like a landline. But I swear it's my cell phone. I tell people to text me, and I was like, or you could email me. But other than that, you're gonna be kind of sad because I don't have a voicemail. I've tried to set it up, and it's an extra charge, and I'm like, nope, I'm poor. I can't afford the extra charge. I'm not gonna lie about it. I can't. So there's not gonna be a voice message unless you download a copy of a voice message to my email. Okay, I'll try to listen to it. but I can't promise anything. The text message is fine. I mentioned that to the lady, and she's like, okay, well, I'll put that in my notes, and I was like, or an email, and she's like, okay, they'll probably email you, and she's like, it's between Monday and Friday, and blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, all right, because nobody's going to be there like during the weekend, and they don't work on the weekends, so I'm like, all right. So that's fun. I have to wait for my my associate discount, and I mean, it should have taken effect the second week of my thing, because they wait 2 weeks just to make sure that you're going to stay, and then they put your data into the database or whatever, and yeah, so all right. It has 12 minutes over. It has been 12 minutes over. So I'm going to save and quit. I don't even know how to say that. Legal in Finland, huh? What is legal in Finland? I'm a little afraid to ask. But anyways, so that was fun. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Try getting permission to scan somebody, maybe, hey, whatever. Bye-bye.